Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 125. And in today's podcast episode, what we're going to talk about is a whole bunch of different things, man. The album is coming. It's slowly getting there. I got like two more tracks to do, and then I'm fucking done. And then I'm gonna jump right into the next one. Because I know people been, some people been asking me for it, like, yo, what the fuck's up with the album? It's supposed to be done a year ago, yada yada yada. What's the deal, right? That original track list that got listed with the album is some of the tracks aren't gonna make it just simply because they no longer fit into that into the idea that I had. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If I would have released that album when I wanted to release it, I would have destroyed a lot of people with that, man. That album wasn't. It was coming from a place of hurt, and it was coming from a place of me trying to understand my emotions in a situation that that ended. And it just brings me into my topic today. I was on Twitter, and this one doctor that I follow. Well, not well. I should say therapist. Actually, no, not well. She has a doctorate, but she's a therapist. She's a college psychologist, and she asked a question like, "Oh, so like, when do you guys know when the relationship is over?" And a lot of people said, "No, you click on the comments and you said what you said," and I thought about it. I'm like, yo, I know when the relationship is over. In my book, when we're arguing a lot, and it's over the same issues, and it's like, okay, there's no point. Like, why, why fight for a relationship or try to keep something alive when it doesn't want to be that way, right? And I think that's important, man. I think a lot of people stay in relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but friendship as well, um, simply because they've known the person for forever. Um, and I think that's really sad, man, because it's like I've I've had friendships for that lasted 15, 20 years, and boom, one day I get up and I'm like, oh, okay, this is not it. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, they're not bad people, but you know, it just comes to a point where you're tired of dealing with the same issues, or when it comes out with it that is jealousy attached to it, and it's enviness attached to it, and it's like, what are you jealous for? What are you envious about? You know what I mean? It's like you had the same opportunities that I had. You didn't, and you didn't fucking take it. Excuse me. And some good coffee. And I think that's extremely important, man. Is that because it's like, um, I get, I don't get frustrated. No. I take that back. I get frustrated. I don't get mad. I don't get upset. Um, I get I get frustrated when I'm dealing with the same type of issues and nothing's coming of it. And it's like my thing is like if I can't talk to you as a friend, whatever it is I'm going on, like who whoever I'm dating or whoever I'm seeing or whatever it is, if I can't talk to you, what's going on, with that, and my problem is that I was telling my former female best friend that, and um, we were just talking one day, and I said, "Yo, okay, like this is going on with this person, yada yada yada, boom, 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 and this is what you're doing, and more or less, she just got tired of hearing about it, and I guess she was upset of how I was treating this individual in the situation, and I said, number one, there's nothing there's nothing wrong with what we're doing. She wanted this situation, so she got it. And it just so happens that with the man, it's really hard for us to treat you differently once we've had you a certain way. And I don't mean treat you, disrespectfully, whatever it is, but it's hard for us to see you in a different light. You know, once we get you in the sheets, more or less, right? And that was the issue. it's crazy because the girl, uh, she kept calling me a friend. She kept calling us friends, and I'm like, and that's what I was telling my homegirl at the time too. I was like, yeah, like, she wants to walk around, act like I did something to her, or act like I'm the asshole in the situation when you pursued me, you did all this shit, and it's like now that you caught feelings, you want to act a certain way, and you can't, because you know, because of what you did in the situation. And I don't mean to say that she's a bad individual because she's not. But like I was telling my homegirl, it's like I'm not gonna walk around, on eggshells just because she feels a certain way about it, And I'm not gonna, this is me not tooting my own horn or whatever it is. Like I know I'm attractive. I know what I bring to the table. I know, my value and shit. I mean, um, it got to the point with that girl where she was asking me questions like, "Oh, how many girls are you talking to? This and this and that, yada yada yada." And I'm like, what are you talking about, right? It's like because it never was a relationship, you know. We were just two people who knew each other, Like we weren't even friends, and so that's why I was telling my homegirl. I was like, yo, I find it really weird that women will want this, you know, want the stipulation, want the situation, and then when they catch feelings in the situation, and they want to act all indifferent about it, and or they want to act different about it, but you can't, and not that I was beating a dead horse or anything, but basically, I guess she got tired of hearing about it, and she decided to pick a fight. I believe she said, well, this is no longer a safe space, yada yada yada. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, I'm literally telling you what is going on in this situation I was in, you know. Or my problem is that I'm very direct, very blunt with individuals, right? And so and I'm not disrespectful, but if we're going over the same situation multiple times and nothing has changed, then it's like the common denominator is probably you. It's like you can sit there and you can blame other people, you can come up with excuses, but at the end of the day, a common denominator is most likely you. You know, it's not. It's not your friends. It's not. It's not your significant other. It's not your ex. It's most likely you, because people will have a tendency to omit shit, and they will try to make themselves look good too. And I remember. I remember telling my homegirl, I was like, well, you have a tendency to leave shit out. You have a tendency to make yourself look good. You have a tendency to try to pick fights in a situation just to give you an opportunity to shut down and basically try to control the situation. And it doesn't work that way, man. It's like most people, man, it's like they want to talk shit out, and they want to figure out where they went wrong, And with her, it wasn't that, like she'll take responsibility when it's the last card she got, and I'm like, yo, where was this in the beginning? Instead of you stonewalling people, still, and not wanting to communicate and not knowing how to communicate, is like you just shut down, and that doesn't help any situation, you know. And it's unfortunate that there are people out there like that, that just they don't understand that other people aren't out here to attack you. Like we're literally trying to understand where you're coming from, right? And I think that's the difficult part, man. Is like everybody's so defensive nowadays too. It's like I was telling another homegirl. I was like, bro, I don't understand how a generation, my generation, and the previous generation, and the one right after me grew up on South Park, but but most people are fucking sensitive as hell these days, right? Like I don't understand that. I mean, it's funny because I was in the gym, and everybody who knows me, like this podcast is basically about a guy who has cerebral palsy and going through his weekly struggles or weekly things or whatever it is, right? So anyway, I'm in the gym working out, and there's one lady. She's always extra with this shit, right? So every rep she doing, she was making some noises and shit, and it was pretty noticeable too. And I walked up to her, and I know her too, and so I walked up to her, I'm like, yo, excuse me, right now you at a 12, I need you at a 5, and she's like, well, the lowest I can go is a 9, this and this and that. I was like, okay, cool, but I said something. I said, yo, you know what? I can hear you with my headphones on. That's how loud you are. And my shit is on. And then she said something, and I jokingly said, oh, you will like you got me fucked up. Yeah, I said, you got me fucked up, and the trainer goes, and I've known this guy for over a decade, right? He goes, well, is that why you walk like that? And I was like, yeah, that's a good burn. You know what I mean? It's like in my head, I was like, damn, I'm mad because I didn't think of it, right? And and the trainer goes, oh man, that was real fucked up. And I was like, no, 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 no. No. I was like, no, it's cool because I would have said the same fucked up shit about me, right? Because it was funny, And so I mean, there's a backstory behind that, but it's like anybody who knows me, it's like, bro, I'm fucking with people 95% of the time, man. It's like, like there's nothing about me malicious at all. So and I told this client straight up, it's like, oh, like if you can't laugh at yourself, then what are you doing? It's like, you know, I mean, there's a difference between being laughed at and being laughed with. And it's like it took me a long time to realize that, yo, this physical disability is it's not a crutch. It's an advantage because if you making fun of yourself and these motherfuckers can't do that, so start doing it. And it's crazy because like when people meet me, they're like, I don't know what to say to that. It's like, nah, just it's like it is what it is, bro. It's like it's not that big of a deal, because to me it's not. Most people they would be like, oh my god, he said that. So what? This shit was funny. It's like, was it fucked up? No, not really. It was funny. It's like, and and yeah, man. So with that being said, it's like it's like like when he said it too, like he delivered it perfectly. He was like, is that why you walk the way you do? And I'm like, ah. and I was like, dog, because I can't help it, man. It is what it is, right? I mean, so it was like, and but yeah, man, I think yeah that yeah, man. But to wrap everything else up, bro, yeah, there's so many people out here who are in relationships where they're not even happy, you know, whether whether it's being married, whether it's a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. A lot of people just afraid to be alone, bro. And I'm like, nah. I'd rather be single, you know, and finding the right person or working, or not even finding the right person, working on myself to become the right person, and then to be in a relationship with somebody who I don't even know anymore, because a lot of people they fail to realize too that just because you knew somebody at, and I'm gonna use this as an example, just because you knew somebody in high school doesn't mean that you know them 20 years later, you know. I know people who've known me since I was 12 years old. I was like, dog, I'm not that 12-year-old kid no more, man. Like, if anything, I'm, the person that the person that you gotta meet is, he's a lot more educated. He's a lot more worldly. He's experienced, in a lot of different ways, and I think a lot of people, man, like, they don't want to re-meet a new version because it's going to put doubt in their mind about them and what they've been doing for the last 15, 20 years, right? To bring up my former best friend, I said, yo, a lot has changed since we last talked. And You gotta re-meet me. That version that you know, he's still here, but he's no longer here for you. You know, that guy that was, responding to your text messages, as soon as you send this shit, you know, he's still here, but he's no longer available to you. And that guy who was, laughing and joking with you, being all sweet, being all nice, he's still here, but you gotta earn that back. And that guy that was doing X, Y, and Z, for you and never expecting nothing in return, he's still here, but you're not getting that back. You know, and I think a lot of people, they don't understand that loyalty has an expiration date, and once that loyalty runs out, once that expiration date comes, it's like, and I can't remember where I heard this from, but I think it was Inky Johnson. Inky Johnson said, loyalty is a contract that needs to be constantly renewed. And being loyal doesn't necessarily mean that you don't fuck up, or or you don't make mistakes. It's like being loyal is basically thinking of the other person before you do something that's detrimental. And a lot of people would be like, they have this saying, oh, well, I wouldn't do that to you. Yes, you would. And I say that because you wouldn't do that to them in this particular opportunity. But if the right opportunity came about, your ass would do it. And I think a lot of people, they don't realize that what what they do in the dark comes to the light, and so on and so on. And I'm a big believer in what you haven't worked on will always be there to haunt you. It will always show up in some sort of way. Whether it's uh whether it's whether it's in a job or friendships or relationships, whatever it is. Because I've had people tell me like, hey, well, like you're not the only important person telling, who's told me that. I'm like, hey, and I'm like, if I'm not the only important person telling you that, then why haven't you changed? Like, why are you still exhibiting the same behaviors? It's like if people are constantly telling you the same thing, like more often than not, they're most likely right. Because they're tired of seeing that shitty ass behavior. But they get back to the original topic. When a relationship is over, it's like when you get tired of talking, and when you get tired of trying to figure things out, Um, my thing for me is when they send a long text message and it really has nothing to do with what the situation is, and then they expect. I'm talking about women and women, because I've never seen a guy do this. They will make what they feel, their emotions, the main point of the conversation, and they will forget what we said. Meaning, let me say it again. They will let their emotions dictate how they feel about what I just said. Not what I said, but how they feel about what I said. So, dictating your emotions and letting them control what you think I said versus what I said is completely contradictory versus what I said. And a lot of people will do that, man. Like a lot of women will do that. They be like, oh well, like you meant this. No, 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 shorty. I said this. Uh, I don't know what the hell you came with that, but that's not remotely close to what I said. And they be like, well, I feel this way. Cool, but like I've been telling people, your emotions aren't the reality of the situation. Yes, they're valid, but your emotions aren't the situation. As soon as people figure that out, as soon as people stop realizing that, oh, that this person is attacking me for whatever it is, boom, 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 boom. Let me use my emotions to basically justify my shitty ass behavior. No, it doesn't work that way. But anyway, guys, this is about 20 minutes of your life that you won't get back. Hope you all keeping the full piece. Private Player, Positive Pushing. And by the way, White Man Can't Jump. It's a great fucking movie. Y'all should go check it out. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Ghost. Like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Peace.